So this video is Functional Skills Level 2 and we're looking at dividing with decimals. So before you start, are you confident with place value and with decimal places? Do you know how to divide without using a calculator? Are you confident at multiplying and dividing by 10? If you need help with any of those, let me know. So dividing decimals by a whole number. This is straightforward. You just use your regular method of division. So for me, this is the bus stop method. There's my bus stop, and I'm doing 6.55 divided by 5. So how many 5s are there in 6? There's 1 with 1 remainder, but I've got to remember to put my decimal point in the right place. How many 5s are there in 15? There's 3. And how many 5s are there in 1? There's 1. Now, there's another example, 27.9 divided by 3. Well, I'm going to see if I can estimate the answer to this before I get started. 27 divided by 3 I know is 9 because 3 times by 9 is 27. So if I calculate this correctly, my answer should be quite close to 9. I'm going to draw my bus stop. 27.9 divided by 3. So how many 3s are there in 2? There's not. So how many 3s are there in 27? And I know that 3 times by 9 is 27. Put my decimal point in. How many 3s are there in 9? Well, there's 3. So my answer is 9.3, and I was expecting it to be about 9. That's good. Here's one for you to have a go at. 93.6 divided by 4. Pause the video. Okay, I'm going to draw my bus stop in here. 93.6 divided by 4. So how many 4s are there in 9? There's 2 with 1 remainder. How many 4s are there in 13? 3 times by 4 is 12. So there's 3 with 1 remainder, but I've got to put my decimal point in. How many 4s are there in 16? And the answer is 4. So my answer is 23.4. Now we're going to look at dividing by a decimal. There's something I want to show you first though. I've got a calculation here, 10 divided by 5, and the answer to that is straightforward, it's 2. Now if I make 10 and 5, both of those 10 times bigger, so I've got 100 divided by 50, then my answer is still 2. Let's see if I make them 10 times bigger again. So I've got 1,000 divided by 500, and the answer is still 2. If I make the 10 and the 5 10 times smaller to become 1 divided by 0.5, then the answer is still 2. And if I make them 10 times smaller again, 0.1 divided by 0.05, then my answer is still 2. And this will help me when I'm dividing by decimals. Let me show you. So I've got here 24 divided by 0.2. Well, to make my division easier, I want to turn 0.2 into a whole number, and I can do that by multiplying it by 10. 0.2 multiplied by 10 becomes 2. If I'm multiplying that part of the calculation by 10, I've also got to multiply the other number in the calculation by 10, otherwise it won't work. So now I've got 240 divided by 2. Now I know that half of 240 is 120. If 240 divided by 2 is 120, then 24 divided by 0.2 is also 120. Let's try another. I've got here 18 divided by 0.03. Now to turn that 0.03 into a whole number, I've got to multiply it by 100. Which means I've also got to multiply 18 by 100. And now I've got 1800 divided by 3. I can use my bus stop for this if I need to. I've got 3 here and 1800. Again, apologies for my writing with the mouse. So how many 3s are there in 1? There's not. So how many 3s are there in 18? Well, 3 times by 6 is 18. How many 3s are there in 0? 0. How many 3s in 0? 0. So if I know that 1800 divided by 3 is 600, then 18 divided by 0.03 must also be 600. Here's one for you to have a go at. Pause the video. So I've got 25.05 divided by 0.5. Okay, to turn that 0.5 into a whole number, I've got to multiply it by 10, which means I've also got to multiply 25.05 by 10. So now I've got 250.5 divided by 5. I can use my bus stop for that. So let's pop that 5 there. 250.5. Make sure that decimal point's nice and clear. So how many 5s in 2? There's not. How many 5s in 25 is 5. How many 5s in 0? 0. Decimal point in the right place. How many 5s in 5? There's 1. So if 250.5 divided by 5 is 50.1, then I know that 25.05 divided by 0.5 is also 50.1. Here's the last one to have a go at. There's 6.55 divided by 0.5. Again, pause the video. So to turn that 0.5 into a whole number, I've got to multiply it by 10, which means I've also got to multiply 6.55 by 10. So now I've got 65.5 divided by 5, and I can use my bus stop for that. 65.5. How many 5s are there in 6? There's 1, remainder 1. How many 5s in 15? There's 3. This is where my decimal point goes. And how many 5s in 5? There's 1. So if I know that 65.5 divided by 5 is 13.1, 6.55 divided by 0.5 is also going to be 13.1. Have a practice at these, and also have a look at the videos on multiplying by a decimal and adding and subtracting with decimals. And good luck. I hope you enjoy them.